Hi, my name is Liuben, and I'm here to tell you about how we plan to bring technology and AI to real estate. So, I'm not here to talk to you about how the real estate market is broken today. Anyone who's really ever made a purchase knows this quite well. I'm here, however, to talk about why. It's our hypothesis as a company that real estate is one of the sectors essentially barred from technology today because it's so fragmented that developing good software is just prohibitively expensive. As a software developer, any product you make for this vertical comes with potentially hundreds of costly integrations with dozens of incompatible systems. And that's why you see real estate using mostly general purpose tools and in general lagging significantly behind in software spend. So what we want to do instead is to build this platform on which to bring all the sides of a real estate transaction together, have them do as much of their business as possible here, and then open that platform up for developers so that any product they write will work instantly with any of our customers, be they buyers, brokers, or banks. So who are we that we do this? So I've spent the last 7 years as a technology and AI executive in European fintechs, mostly out of Germany, working for some of the, I would say, prominent startups in the field to help digitize the finance industry. And in the meantime, Bojan, our CEO, has been doing exactly the same in government, and Todor, our other co-founder, has been doing the same in structured and corporate finance. So at one point, not too long ago, I realized that two of my oldest friends sort of coincidentally have this perfect complementary skill set to execute on this. It was an odd idea, but I called him and we started the company the same day. So you're going to have to trust us on this since we have no time to explain really. But the best way to get to that vision is to build a great listings database. Think truly a Zillow, Imot, essentially, and to do that in a very specific way from a technology standpoint. So that's what we did with Iskam Imot, which is our first product, which we soft launched 3 weeks ago. So as our first USP, we chose transparency. We all know that frequently decisions for real estate get taken ad hoc, haphazardly, with little data, mostly because there's none to be had. And we know there's a lot of pent-up demand there. So what we did is we pulled data from dozens of sources to help evaluate the quality of a property and its location. And we invested in the technology and the UX that would make this accessible to every one of our users. So for example, we create these maps that you see here that give you an instant and visual way to factually compare the quality of two locations in a city across more than 20 KPIs on quality of life. And we can do this for any European city, essentially. And these range from environmental ones, whether it's clean, whether it's quiet, whether it's green, through whether it's fun to live at, what quality of schooling and healthcare we can expect, and a bunch more. We then make this indexable, so we expose it to our search engine, and this allows people to find properties near a great school or close to a beach and do that without the agents needing to do manual data entry. So everything is available automatically. And we then spent a bunch of time designing these dashboards on the individual property level that give you an in-depth, readable information about the context. Things such as detailed school info, sensor data feeds, natural hazards, public transport, and lots more that we have growing every day. So clearly data is kind of our thing. Our platform both provides data and collects it. And it's designed as a very finely tuned measurement instrument that records and analyzes the behavior of every user. And we then turn around and leverage that data to create high impact products for every consumer and business on our platform. Clearly, agents are one of our core targets, and for them we build things such as automations. For example, in about 2 weeks, they'll be able to generate a market analysis, basically at the click of a button. We spend a bunch of time coming up with a machine learning solution that can generate actionable recommendations on how to improve a listing based on how people engage with it. We do tracking, dashboards, analytics. Our model is basically freemium. Agents can list with us for free, and we charge for tools that add direct value. So obviously, as we have Europe in the crosshairs here, we started with key international brokerages. Remax are a close partner, more recently ERA and Arco, which is a regional player. And we reached out to leading local players and have a pretty healthy pipeline, and they're signing up new partners every day. For finance, which is my personal passion, for the real estate segment in banking and insurance, we do our signature data into value add. And for them, we build digital funnels resting on deep integrations with core systems and provide tools and analytics to make sure they can continuously improve. And here we work on commissions, unknown and pre-tested business model. And we have either deep technical integrations or at least a commercial agreement with some leading institutions with a regional and global footprint that can essentially follow us on our journey across Europe. So this is where we are. What's next? We're about, I think, hopefully, a city or 2 weeks away from a public launch where we can get some good data on the cost of scaling this and validate our business model. We'll then go on to do a proper race and then to other countries. We have a couple in the pipeline.
Now, what the jury members have to say, Liuben? Thanks for bringing in Iskam Imot. Let's move on and now to some questions that hopefully will add value. We have done, and then Jaco, and then I'll queue up some more of you. Done, please.
Iskam Imot means something?
Yeah, it means I want the property in Bulgaria.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so first thing is data sources. Where do you get data on quality of life, and how do you sort of normalize that across locations?
I mean, do you have a couple of hours? So we use everything from public records, a lot of satellite data, interestingly. Thank you, Homeport. And we do quite a bit of data aggregation from various sources, and we put that into geographic information system of our own design that is able to detect cities, normalize within cities. So essentially to make this readable, right? The data is...
So you go per city, not so much per sort of neighborhood or so.
Every piece of data that we have is valid on in these grids that we make, which are 50 meters wide, essentially, and data we collect essentially on the country/continent level.
And then let's move on to some other questions so we can build up on that. We had also Raya, and then please raise your hand to see who's queuing up, and then Malin. Raya, please.
Very quick follow-up to the data question. What part of the data do you generate yourself, if anything? Or is your value in aggregating the data and analyzing it?
Excellent question. We see our value in two components. So if we're talking about generation, we have a couple of things, a couple of our key interesting data sets that we generate ourselves. For example, noise pollution, regular pollution, where a place is green or not, etc. And we do that from various sources, essentially. We also, every single piece of interaction data, obviously, we generate ourselves. And we also spend a lot of time into making this interpretable, essentially both accessible to machine learning models, which we are quite good at, but also to actual consumers.
All right, let's move on further. So we had Malin, and then I think we had Irina, but please confirm. Malin, please.
Two short questions. First of all, how do you deal with possible data dependencies issues? Such as you get data from some companies, so what happens if they just say, we don't give you data anymore? The second question is whether you had some sort of market validation for, as long as you're not yet public.
Thanks, Malin. We'll take then a question from Belizar if we still have time, so please keep it short. Liuben, the floor is yours.
Quickly, we are not really super dependent on any one data source. So it's a technical thing, but in machine learning, what you learn pretty quickly is that a lot of variance is shared actually between variables. So we can deal with losing a lot of data sources. Also, our sources are generally very reliable and they have zero commercial interest in cutting us off. In terms of commercial validation, we do have partnerships with a number of agencies, a number of financial institutions, and since they are the primary paying customer to this, obviously we've done small-scale customer experiments, which have shown a very, very sustainable cost of scaling this. So I would say that we're doing well.
Thank you. Just to hear out the question that Belizar had, maybe it's of value to you to keep it, to take it with you. Belizar, please ask your question, but we won't have time to stay for an answer as well. But maybe you'll have a meeting afterwards. Belizar, please ask your question.
My quick question was if the team has any experience on the real estate market.
Yes.